Hey everyone, what is going on? So we are going up against my friend Trexler in the Sinister Cup. His team is going to consist of Poliwrath, Mawile, Gardevoir, Toxicroak, Alolan Marowak, and Steelix, and my team is going to be Poliwrath, Slowbro, Haunter, Steelix, Alolan Marowak, and Fortress. So let's see how we do. I wanted to try out a Confusion user, so I decided to try out Slowbro. And there's other Confusion users that I do want to try out, especially Girafarig, which I think is going to be really good for this cup. So I will be trying out Girafarig soon in one of these upcoming videos. I can't wait to use that Pokemon because it does resist ghost types, which are everywhere in this cup. It's going to be weak to obviously Mawile's Bite, but outside of that, definitely a Pokemon that I will be trying out, but we're focusing mainly on the Confusion user Slowbro as well as Haunter in this video. I do not have a Shadow Ball Haunter, so my Haunter is just going to have Shadow Punch as well as Sludge Bomb. Now, I do think Sludge Bomb is good on Haunter. I did use it in regionals and I did actually like it, but when it comes to this cup, you definitely want the Shadow Ball variant if you have it over Sludge Bomb because it's just a more powerful move. Sludge Bomb's not going to be doing much to these Pokemon like these Steel types. You're not going to have a Zoomel in this cup. Even if you faced against, went up against a Gardevoir, you could still use Shadow Ball. So, yeah, you're not really going to have the Fairy Pokemon, obviously, in this cup. So you do want the Shadow Ball. I didn't have it, so I still went in with Haunter just to try things out and see how it went. But, yeah, we're going to bring in Poliwrath, and I believe this will knock him out, and we will go ahead and take Game 1. So we do win Game 1. Yeah. Just with an old team though. Slowbro doesn't do much obviously against the ghost types. That's why I'm kind of iffy on it. I do like it, but if it's going up against dark Pokemon or Bite, like Mawile, it's obviously not going to have a good time. But let's jump into the next game. Now, I wasn't actually going to upload this battle because there was so much lag. As you can see right now, we're lagging and I'm not able to do anything. I'm not able to switch. I continuously tap on the switch icon, but I'm not able to do so. Now, at this point, I didn't know if my Steelix was basically knocked out at this point or not, or if he was lagging as well. Now, my switch icon comes up, but I'm still not able to switch. Now, he did lag as well, from what I understood, because I didn't take health, so I do get the switch eventually. However, this does matter and did affect the game because the switch icon, the switch timer basically went away. He was able to switch out immediately, whereas he wouldn't have been able to had we not lagged if I got the Slowbro in immediately. So it did affect the game. That's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not his fault or anything. But I'm just saying this definitely did affect the thing, and that's why I lost the Slowbro so early on, whereas it would have taken out the Poliwrath. But again, it's okay. It's not really a big deal. He does have his Gardevoir right now, and I do bring in Steelix to use my Crunch against his Gardevoir, hoping to take a shield as we do. He goes ahead and switches in Poliwrath, and Poliwrath, I am going to block this power-up punch, just going for Crunch damage just to try and get as much damage out as possible or take his last shield. So at least we did take his shield. He's gonna go ahead and use power up punch. I decided to let Steelix go down, and as you can see, it did go down, and now I have my Poliwrath, and it's definitely over. Would I have won had I knocked out Poliwrath with Slowbro? I don't know, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not a big deal. So we do go ahead and take a loss there. So good game. So we're gonna jump into another one. And I do lead with my Alolan Marowak. He leads with his Toxicroak. So, not really a great matchup because he does have his Mud Bomb move. So I'm going to go ahead and shield this. I did try and switch out, I believe. Or no, I tried to. I guess I got my Bone Club off, and then I decided to switch out into Slowbro because I knew I'd be able to do a lot of damage. So you saw how much damage that did before he was able to switch out. But that could be said for any Confusion user, not just Slowbro, just because of how weak Toxicroak is to Slowbro. So he's going to knock out my Slowbro with Mawile easily. However, we still took a shield with Water Pulse, so that is nice. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Poliwrath. Got to protect Poliwrath because I cannot take those Play Roughs, and I knew he wouldn't be able to get to another Play Rough before I knock him out. So I do go ahead and go for the power up punch. It won't faint it, but then a bubble will. So we do go ahead and knock out Mawile. And we're both out of shields at this point. He unfortunately gets off a charge move, which will be a mud bomb, but we're able to take it. And we'll see which comes in. I'm going to go ahead and use my power up punch against Gardevoir, and then I'm going to pull the switch immediately into my Alolan Marowak and go for Shadow Ball, and that is going to be game. Some of you had asked what is the best fighting type in my opinion for this cup. I think it's going to be Poliwrath. I really do, with Bubble. You know, if you have a Mudshot one, I think that's okay as well, but I think Bubble is the way to go. I think it's better than Toxicroak. I even think it's better than Medicham for this cup. Medicham will be weak to those ghost Pokemon, so you see Poliwrath all the time in my videos, so for this cup at least, and it's just so good for this cup in my opinion. So he's gonna pull the switch, and I do get off my Shadow Punch. As I said, I do not have Shadow Ball. We actually get to another one, which is fantastic. So this is going to take his shield. So we do go down to that bite, but at least we take his shield. So I do bring in my Steelix because we would be taking a lot from Slowbro, and I actually go for the Crunch. That's because I thought he would get to a charge move, but I probably should have still fainted it out. Even if he got to a charge move, his charge moves wouldn't be doing a lot to Steelix, so I do believe that was a mistake on my end. I shouldn't have used all that energy, but we're going to charge up for Earthquake, and we're going to actually go for the Earthquake, hoping he would think it was a Crunch, and that's exactly what happens because we knock out Gardevoir, and then he brings in his Alolan Marowak. So I'm going to go ahead and block this because I knew I could get to a Crunch, which would either knock him out or take his last shield. And I figured he would shield at this point, and he does. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the switch into my Slowbro, and he's actually going to go ahead and hit us with the Shadow Ball. Now, I thought I would survive that, but I don't, and then he's able to win this one. So I thought I was going to win this one. Maybe I shouldn't have switched out Steelix. Would that have mattered? Because we would have taken the Shadow Ball or the Bone Club, and then on Steelix, and then we would have brought in Slowbro and won. Maybe. So that, I guess, was probably a mistake on my end. But let's see how this game goes. So we do lead with Haunter this time, and he leads with Poliwrath. We're going to actually take the shield. I tried to switch out, but unfortunately he got off his charge move before I was able to, so I do block it. I was thinking it would be an Ice Punch, but it wasn't. It was a Power Up Punch. So I bring in my Slowbro, and he brings in his Mawile, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that Water Pulse, which will take a shield. So at least Slowbro got his last shield, even though it does go down. So that's definitely good for us. We are up a shield. I do bring in my Poliwrath, and I'm going to have to protect myself at this point because I know Play Rough is coming. So we do go ahead and protect Poliwrath, and then we get off a Power Up Punch to knock out that Mawile as it does. So we're waiting to see what comes in. It's going to be that Alolan Marowak. I do pull the switch into my Haunter because I thought I could quickly get off a Shadow Punch as we do. Doesn't knock it out, so he's able to knock us out. But that's okay. Because now I know Bubbles will be able to finish off his Alolan Marowak. And now his final Pokemon is that Poliwrath. He actually gets off a charge move before we're able to. But I knew whatever move it was, we could survive it and then go for a Power Up Punch. So as you can see, going for that Power Up Punch, and we do knock him out. So yeah, as I said, I do think Haunter is fantastic for this cup. I really think if you're planning on using Haunter, you should probably want that Shadow Ball. But for this time, we do lead with Steelix. He leads with his Mawile. And, I mean, that bite is still chunking away at us, but we do have Earthquake. And I do charge up. He switched into Steelix. I could have went for the Earthquake. I decided to save my energy. The Earthquake probably would have taken a shield. I don't think he would have risked it. But he actually does go for an Earthquake against my Poliwrath. So that was a nice play on his end to go for the Earthquake and do a lot of damage to my Poliwrath. He goes for his Crunch right now, and I do decide to shield this one up, just because I knew I could finish off that Steelix with my Poliwrath and have energy for whatever comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and go for my Power Up Punch against his Mawile. And I was confident I had enough for two Power Up Punches, as we do. So we're able to get both of them off, which was really nice for me. and that will take one of his shields, so I'll definitely take that. He does finish off my Poliwrath, so I know I have the Earthquake ready to go, so I bring in my Steelix and go for the Crunch. And that will take his last shield, so I'm really happy about that. And now we go for the Earthquake on his God of War, which pretty confident does knock it out. It actually doesn't knock it out, but it comes super close, so that's fine by me. So we're able to knock out God of War, and now his final Pokemon is going to be that Mawile. Now, I believe I go for Crunch here. I think I accidentally clicked on it. Yeah, I do go for Crunch. Earthquake obviously would have been better because Crunch doesn't even knock it out, but we are still able to win because we get to another Crunch, so it didn't matter. But we had that Earthquake we could have went for and just knocked it out immediately. But regardless, we do go ahead and win that one. So another fine game. Let me know how you guys are enjoying the Sinister Cup battles, and continue to bring suggestions on Pokemon you want to see. So we are leading Alolan Marowak. I do switch out right away to my Slowbro. He will pull the switch to his Mawile, and that's okay because I know we can get to a Water Pulse as we do. So we do go get to that Water Pulse, which will take his shield, and unfortunately he's just going to farm us up and knock out Slowbro. So we do bring in Poliwrath, and again, you've seen this in the past. We're going to have to block Poliwrath because if we don't, Poliwrath is going down. So we are going to go ahead and get off a Power Up Punch against his Mawile. Doesn't knock it out, but we finish it off with a Bubble. And waiting to see what comes in. Right now it's going to be that Poliwrath, so he actually gets off his Power Up Punch against us. So we're going to go ahead and take it, and he actually pulls the switch and catches my Power Up Punch, so nice switch on his end. But I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Alolan Marowak and get off the Bone Club. So we do get that Bone Club off, and it won't knock it out, so he's actually able to get one off against us. So I do go ahead and throw up the shield to protect my Marowak and finish him off with fast moves. Now he still has a shield though, so he brings in Poliwrath, and he's actually able to get off a move before we are, but I knew I would be able to survive that. We do get off that Bone Club, which I knew would be met with a shield as it is. So we actually go for another Bone Club. I should have went for the Shadow Ball, guys. Wow, another huge mistake. The thing is, he was farming me up. I didn't think he would farm me up. I thought he would just try and knock me out, but that's not the case. And he actually is able to get off another Power Punch before I get off my Power Punch. So definitely a huge mistake. If I went for that Shadow Ball, I would have won. But again, that is okay. That's why we're practicing in this cup. So we learn a lot. So for this game, we lead with Haunter, and he leads with his Steelix, and definitely not a good matchup for us. Going to switch out into Poliwrath, and he's going to pull the switch into God of War, so this is definitely not a good match for us. Gonna go for that Ice Punch, and he actually blocks it. I was not expecting a block. I guess he's probably expecting Ice Punch, but I do bring in my Haunter, trying to farm down that God of War. So we do go ahead and farm it down, so that's definitely good. And now we go for the Shadow Punch immediately. As I said, don't have that Shadow Ball, unfortunately, but we're able to get off another Shadow Punch. So charging up really fast. Way to go, Haunter. So he is actually going to shield that and then switch in his Alolan Marowak to finish our Haunter off. I do bring in my Steelix, and I am going to shield that. I thought I let that go through, but I guess not. So we're going to go ahead and let this one go through. So it is a Bone Club, so we could take that. And I do charge up extra energy, and then I go for my Crunch just to try and knock out his Alolan Marowak. So we do knock it out, and then he brings in Steelix, and I was clicking on the Earthquake, but he got to it before me. But that is okay because we're able to shield, and we do get off the Earthquake, and this is going to knock out Steelix. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.